Good morning and welcome to my presentation on the afforestation plan of White Knights Farm, Reading. The site is currently made up of dispersed mixed species of trees and rough pasture, currently being used in association of the mixed farm of arable and livestock use. There are hard tracks throughout the site leading to access to other parts of the farm. The site is currently restricted in its current use due to the seasonal waterlogging, and so I present a new design which should cover the aims of additional income and recreational use of shooting. My design is of two mixed broadleaf species woodlands of around 3 hectares each, a cover crop area of 2 hectares, and 2 offset rows of cricketbat willow either side of the river. As you can see in the site plan, there are 2 areas of new plantations. Drive 1 shall have an extra hectare of woodland planted in addition to the 2 hectares already there. Drive 2 shall have 3 hectares of new planting, as well as 2 hectares of cover crop for the initial first 5 years before shrub species have established to create cover, enabling the shoot. And drive 3 is made up of cover crop, which could be part of the wider farm rotation of arable cropping. In purple you can see along the river there'll be 2 offset cricketbat willow planting. Spacing of the trees within the 2 woodlands is very important to create a warm, dense and varied habitat for the pheasants. The woodland edge is where the pheasants mainly stay, and so it's important for this to be made up of at least 50% shrubby cover, and this creates a gradual sloping from openings to the standard tree height, which is what the pheasants prefer. And this is my projections of what the wood edge should look like. The left and bottom picture around 5 years before the shrubs look like this, and it'll be a few decades before the standard tree types look like this. However, once the shrubs get to around 7 to 10 years, they'll be coppiced in coops of around 0.3 hectares, providing income of around £300 each year from firewood. Species have been chosen in accordance to the soil type available on the site. There are 2 types of shrubs, hazel and hawthorn, which are very water tolerant and so can be planted in the areas where there is waterlogging. There are 3 types of medium-sized tree, which creates flexibility in the wood if there's not enough denseness, habitat. These can be coppiced. There are 2 types of standard, beech and oak. These are slightly water intolerant, and so I've presented them to be planted in the upland areas, such as in drive 2, which is beneficial for the birds to fly down to drive 3. Drive 3 should be made up of fodderkale cover crop. Drive 2 should be secondary planted with canary grass, which should last for 7 years cover. And this is what the cricketbat willow should look like along the river after around 15 years. Costings. Grants available are mainly in association with countryside stewardship, and as the site is part of a wider agricultural unit, entrance into these schemes could be supported by extra conservation elsewhere on the farm. However, as the site is within the HS2 Woodland Fund area, my income costs are based on getting this granting, and pheasant costs are based on 1,000 birds per release pen, which is 3,000 birds on this site, We predict 50% of these birds will be shot, and variable costs are made up of poult prices, feed prices, and cost of beaters and picker-uppers, and these change annually. And at the bottom there's a table of the initial planting costs of the trees. So projected incomes are very positive on the site, with the cricketbat willow contracts. The trees should be sold at around £200 to £250 per standing tree, and we predict around 50% will reach this price. However, further considerations must address fixed costs of pheasants, which haven't been included in the initial outlay of the income projections, ongoing replacement costs of trees, how much in-house management you'd like to do of the woodlands and the shoot, and where you'd like to market the shoot, the type of client you'd like, if you'd like to publicise it, or keep it as a private recreational use. Thank you very much for your time.